Welcome to the Four Seasons. I'm your host Ken Johnson, and today we're going to be installing a dishwasher, but this is not the normal dishwasher that you would think about. This is a portable dishwasher that I'm going to be hardlining in. So it will no longer be portable. Stick around, see what happens. Just a little bit of an update. So all the flooring is in. Today is May 31st. So we've been kind of making this work. My office is still a hot mess, but the floors are down in it. In fact, that shelving right there that I'm trying to get to actually get everything going. It looks kind of fuzzy because I'm looking through a window, but if you see that metal stuff, that's a dog kennel I'm halfway through putting together for my dogs. It's about 7 foot by 7 foot, a little bit more than that. But that's a temporary thing because the trees are still here, the fence is still here, and we've had some problems that one, I can't get help until June or July, and then the other is the contract to buy the property fell through, and I may discuss that on a future episode. But now I want to show you my next project because I have nothing but unfinished projects now. I absolutely hate Home Depot. This was supposed to be delivered the 1st of May, around May 3rd, something like that. And it was delivered instead just this past weekend. Again, this is May 31st, so it's delivered on the 28th. They said, you have no choice in the matter. They really were not helpful. This is right here is a portable dishwasher. And the reason why is because I do not have space under my cabinets to put in a regular dishwasher. And so I had to come up with a solution. So here is where things get fun. I have to take this heavy monster here, turn it around with no wheels, and place it on its packing base. After I turn it on its end, I've got to find some wooden shims, stick them between these holes right here in the wheel. So, I've got to find something thicker than my thumb, and I'm 6'2" and got big hands, so that's pretty good space. That's almost an inch between the two. It's well over a ½ inch, well over 3/4 of an inch. So, which is the reason why I don't do good fishing videos, because I dwarf any monster I catch. Anyway, so then I've got to beat this in so that it seats properly. Once it's able to roll, I got to then take this monster, put it back up, take off the sides and all that garbage so that I can get to the guts for this right here. This right here is a portable fix so that goes into the faucet. I want to bypass that. I found out today I'm missing a part, so I've got to go to the store and get a part. We've got the inflow connector here. We've got the little T thing that comes off, and then we've got this discharge hose. But there's a T I got to go get for this that I didn't get. So I'll have to run to the store and do that. Then I've got to drill a hole in the base of this cabinet and then snake the hole right about here. Now the problem is, you can see the plumbing. The plumbing is going to be interesting because I don't know how best to get that T. I guess I can cut it out though. This is crazy how this is set up. So I gotta figure out what to do. And then the water lines right, probably right there. I've got to get a T part for the inflow water. So this is nuts. I've got to figure out what to do and how to do it, and I have no training. So this is not going to be a how-to video. This is probably going to be a how don't to do video, because that's really the way my life is. But I'm just showing you what's going on with the house, because it seems to be a bunch of never-ending chores that I mean, I've already busted the washing machine, had to get a repairman out. It just, every time I turn around, because you know it's older house, there's issues that pop up, life happens, there's all these different issues, and I'm just not equipped to handle it. But I'm all I got, so we're gonna make this work, and I'll show you the updates. So the first thing that I've done is I went to the local hardware store, which is Hall's here in Milton, and they get ridiculed a lot for being high. But I tell you what, when you need somebody who knows what they're talking about, you don't get that with Home Depot or Lowe's. I'm sorry, they just do not. You can't find people to help you, and when you do get them, most of the time they don't know what they're talking about. But when you go to a local hardware store, they do. So I even had the manager of the store help me out, and he sold me this adapter. What I've done is I've turned off the hot water. So that little knob there, you just turn that off. He's saying that if I unscrew this pipe, there should be enough clearance, and it will let me put in this adapter. And then this pipe right here, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So this pipe right here that I'm talking about, what we'll do, I'll show you the other pipe, and then I've got to cut off the other pipe. So I'll use this to see where I need to cut it. So I'm going to loosen this up, loosen that up, jiggle this out. And so I'll show you when I'm done with that. So nothing is ever easy. I took this apart. Notice that there's threads, and notice that there's a device on this one to where it will thread on, and then at the top is threads. This right here, however, I don't see threads on it. So sorry about that. I do not see threads on it. So I don't know what to do. Yeah. Gonna have to figure this out. Okay, so I got the, pardon the dogs, it's storming in there. They go nuts every time it rains. But this pipe is painted, but it is actually copper. And thank God for that, because the new stuff is plastic and rigid and would break. But I was able to bend this copper to allow me to get the fitting out. And now I have to bend it some more to get the T fitting on. So I'll show you that when I'm done. Yeah, nothing about this is easy. Anybody that says that it is a liar. So I did have to bend the hose. And then I had to use something to hold this T-part in place because it wanted to be free swinging while I was trying to screw in the two parts. So I've got that done. Now I've got to run back to Halls and find out the solution for this monstrosity and see what I can do with that. See you in a second. Okay, gang, so math is coming into play. Yay. I just love it when you have to use math for something supposed to be simple. So, that's the T device. All total, it's 8 inches long. And this is the piece right here that came out. That piece, if you look on my notes, is 5.5 inches. No one sells a coupling that would work. Halls does not have the right type of fitting that I need. No one else sells it, so I'm in trouble here. I did talk to a customer service rep, and he did find a coupling for drain repair that I can add to. Problem is, it's a tight space in there. That's a very tight space. That coupling is 2.25 inches. I needed to cut off 1/4 inch anyway because it was too tight of a fit. Meaning, really and truly, I need an extra 2.5 inches of space that I don't have. And then this part right here, just to the T itself, that little branch is 3.5 inches. And of course, total it's 5.5. So what I figured up, I said, well, how far could I cut back and not screw things up too bad? And so I came up with 4.75 inches. So I'm going from the top of this little T thing. I'm going to measure down 4.75 inches, and I'm going to cut. Then up here, I've got all this extra pipe, and so I need to eliminate some of that. And I was like, well, how much do I need to eliminate? So I already said that the coupling is 2.25. I needed 2.5, so I said 2.5. And the original piece was 5.5. I'm going to cut it down to 4.75. That comes out to 3/4 inch. I subtracted 3/4 inch from the 2.5 I already need. That came out to 175, or 1.75. If you add 1.75 inches with 3/4 inch, you come out to be 2.5. Meaning, if I cut this T at 4.75, where that line is, and I make a line that cuts off roughly 1.75 inches up here somewhere, that I should get the 2.5 inch space plus the 1/4 inch space I need to make all this work. As my dad would always tell me, it looks good on paper. Reality is different. So we're going to find out. Stick around. Alright, time to void the warranty on this son of a gun. Let's give it a go. As I like to say, even a blind hog finds an acorn every once in a while. And where that little water line is, right there, is ironically about 1.25 inches. So just where I need to cut. So I'm going to cut on that water line. Now the fun part. I'm going to use a hole cutting auger bit, and I'm going to cut a hole under here on the floor, and then a hole in the side over here, and then I'm going to snake the lines through. This ought to be fun. Probably somebody's going to the emergency room. Stick around. Well, that took longer than it should. Took about 15 minutes just drill this hole. Very thick plywood, more than what I expected out of this. So now we got the hole cut. I can cut the other side and we can snake it through. By the way, it was a 2 1/8 or 54 millimeter hole that I just drilled. The next one I'm going to use is a 1 3/4 inch or 44 millimeter hole, and I think I'm going to be able to snake it through with no problem. I'm trying to eliminate too big of an entrance hole on the side of the shelf or of the cabinet. And this hole took way longer. This was a good 2 inches of wood I had to drill through. So you can see, I'm going to try to zoom it in, but you can see that is pretty thick. Oh, good grief. Easy my butt. So if you're married, I'm sure you have dealt with the same thing that I have dealt with. So my wife always dings me about having what she considers to be junk. Now this right here is just a little snake device, and I think I paid $3.50, and I've used it maybe 4 times in the last 13 years. And this is one of the things she would say, why don't you throw it away and buy a new one when you need one? The other thing is twine. She's like, you always have rope. Why do you have rope? Throw that stuff away. You don't need it. Okay, well, right now, there's nowhere to buy this at. I can't buy that anywhere. There's because of the state of the country and the imbeciles that are running our country, it would be at least 5 or 6 days before I can get that or get this, and I would pay out a small fortune. So I have it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a nut to the end of this right here. That snake head is magnetic, and I'm going to run it through the other side, and then I can't get it to come out that hole, so that way I'm put that line and that bolt through here, and then that magnet will get that bolt and I can pop it out. I'll show you how this works. Okay, I got this looped around and wrapped around a few times so that I can run this through with this nut. Now I'm going to feed it in. Now we've run the snake in through here. Crap. And here we go. There's the nut. Took a few tries, I won't lie. You're dealing with a magnet, and it's not the best magnet in the world, but I got it. One of the things that people don't talk about is the length of the hoses. They only sell a certain size, and you probably need about 2 hoses each in order to make all this fit, unless you got a really close connection. So I've got to run to the store. Halls is closed. It's after 6 o'clock, almost 7 o'clock. So I'm going to have to run to either Lowe's or Home Depot and hope they may have this. Otherwise, I got to wait until tomorrow morning and run back up to Halls. Well, a 45-minute round trip drive and a very rude, uneventful trip to Lowe's, and $60 later I finally get my stuff. They have the rudest checkout clerks. Oh my God. Woman's like, what do you want? And she was awful, and you can never get any help in that store. I cannot believe that they can be that big and be that sorry. Lowe's, you suck. Anyway, I've got me another 8 foot of drain hose. And then to that, I've got another 8-foot of inflow hose, or braided hose. So got that. Then I had to do connectors. And that's where Lowe's just really sucks. Did I mention they suck? Oh my God. So anyway, they don't even have a barcode. They hand write and hand package these. So they know they need them, and they just hand write it, and then you're supposed to figure, there's no picture or nothing, and then you're supposed to figure out what's a chrome nipple. Well, here it is. And that's what it is male and male nipple. So this is going to allow me for this steel hose to connect these two hoses together. They do not carry 3/8 inch, 7/8 inch, any of that stuff, so I had to get a 1 inch. They don't have any type of long straight line couplings, so your selection is just abysmal. So I'm going to have to trim down the hose connector, but this will allow me to have connect the two pipes. So yeah, I got that. So this right here alone was $10 because you can't buy just one. They say, oh, you save money by buying 5. I don't need 5. I just need 1. Oh my God. Lowe's, I don't know if I said this. I probably did, but you suck. Guess where I am again? Yes. The 3/8 inch nipple thing that I bought. It's too big. So now I gotta go return it and see if I can't find somebody to help me. Stick around. Well, I wish that this second trip had been like I wish my first trip had been like my second trip. There was a guy ahead of me in the return aisle complaining about the sorry staff, and evidently a manager got on to it, and the checkout clerk was the same lady, and she was amazing this time. I swear sugar would not have melted in her mouth. She was so sweet. And I had a super cool guy named Glenn, and Glenn, he was waiting on me to arrive at the plumbing section. They had already called him ahead of time, and he was waiting. He was able to help me out. He gave me some tips, $13 extra. I'm getting there now, so it's crazy, but story of my life. So stick around and see what happens, because it's now 9 o'clock, and I've been going since about 9 o'clock. So 12 hours into this project, supposed to be easy. So don't believe YouTubers when they say things are easy. It's not. Okay, I got this on the side. Looks like there's 2 screws holding this together. I'm going to try to get this off. God help me. Well, I hope I got this off right. I took this hose off this. Don't know if it's right or not. And I took this off that. Of course, there was water in it. I guess they have to water test them. So even in a brand spanking new dishwasher, you got water in it. Something to be aware of. When you open up the door on the lid, there's some screws. So I'm going to unscrew those and see what happens. What's worse could happen? There appear to be 2 screws in the front of the dishwasher once you open up doors. So I'm going to unscrew those and see what happens. As luck would have it, there appears to be some more screws and some screws down here. So again, following the what's the worst that could happen, I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and take these off and see what happens. Well, there's 2 more screws here. I'm still using the let's unscrew it and see what happens model. I do want to make mention, when my granddaddy was alive, he had a reel that was taken apart, and he thought it was a good idea to teach me how to put things back together by giving me that reel to put back together. And I stayed with him for years before he passed, and I worked on it every day. I never got that reel together. Finally threw it away. So that lets you know how good my, construction skills are. Just, FYI. Okay, you have to put the wheels on, otherwise you'll bend the metal. So that's nice to know. This is all bent to crap. But there's some more screws here, 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 and here. So let's keep with the why not and just unscrew everything. So this little plastic piece, it comes out. It was screwed in right here and right over here, so we're taking that out. Now the casing just comes right off. Okay, now what you do is just pull all the hose out, because I disconnected it from the bottom and just pulled it out. It came out from under there, so now I run a brand new line through. Okay, so I've got a male-to-male coupler, brass coupler. So what I've done is I've already screwed it into one end of the female hose, and I've got this other female hose. I'm going to screw it in, and I'm tightening them up with a pair of pliers and a wrench. Now I have this little connector here I need to connect it to so it can hook under the bottom. So it hooks just like that. And it'll snake through that little hole in there, go through that box right there, and then it'll go down right in that corner. Next thing, I'm going to take my pocket knife, trim off these ends right here, and then I'm going to cut this off right here, stick this in, and use a pipe or hose clamp and marry these two together. Okay, that was a stupid mistake. This is bigger than that hose. It fits in that hose, but I was using 2 different brands from 2 different companies, not paying attention, so this won't work. What I'm going to do is take this part that I cut off, I'm going to cut that off, put that in there, and that should stop the gap. So I just crammed that into that compression fitting inside, and then this will fit in over this, and then I'll screw it all together. Okay, I just shoved these underneath. Now it's time to put this assembly back on here and then start putting it back together. Okay, so what I've done now is I've taken this plastic piece, put it back on, put screws in to hold this in place. So this is kind of like a bracing, and now I'm starting to work my way back to where we were. And so next thing is put screws in here and here, so I'll do that next. Next I'm going to do these screws here, here, and here, and here. Okay, I'm having a bit of a problem with this front facing, connecting this together. I don't know why. So I've already tipped this over on its side, and I'm going to hook up the drain here, and we'll hook in the inflow here. You'll see that in a minute. So I found out how to fix it right in the middle, right here. You see, it's hard to get my finger in there, but there is a little plastic bump.
Okay, it's hard to see between, but there's 2 screws and a little piece of plastic. You've got to get that little piece of plastic in that brace in order to fit the base of this together, because this front part right here is plastic and then this is metal, and just so that you don't have a messed up base, you've got to have that screwed in right and put in right. So I popped it in. Now time to do the other side. Before I work on the other side, I'm going to go ahead and put this bottom on. So I'm going to go ahead and screw this in, protect the bottom. Okay, I got the legs on, and now I'm screwing in the back 2 bolts. Now all that's left to do is put on the top. And as you can see right here, there's these little holes for pegs to go into, and it slides. Once that's done, then I'll open up door, and right here are the screws that hold in the thing into place, the top. So let's do that and turn her on. This was a pain in the butt to take off, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 4 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4 on each one of these to make it where it's a little easier to take on and off. I don't think I've loosened it enough to where it will be flopping around, but it'll be enough that I can take it off if I need access to it. So I'm planning for future problems, which sometimes you just need to. You need to plan for future problems. Okay, that screws in. Now next time do the other and we'll be done. Alright, she's plugged in. I'm going to turn on the hot water and load her up and try it. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's running. So we'll see how good it cleans. 11:30, finally getting my first load of dishes washed since moving into the house. Using the dishwasher that took almost a month from Home Depot. Only been working on this since 9 o'clock this morning. Yay. Well, it just finished a cycle and everything looks great. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye.